Deep Dive. Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive into a topic that's becoming more critical every single day: IoT and OT security. We're talking about the security of the devices that are increasingly running our world, from the smart thermostat in your home to the industrial robots in a factory. Today, we'll break down what IoT and OT are, why securing them is so different from traditional IT, and the real-world risks we face if we get it wrong. Part 1. Understanding IoT and OT, the foundation. To understand the security challenges, we first have to understand the technologies themselves. IoT, the connected world. IoT, or the Internet of Things, is a massive network of physical objects, things, embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies to connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the Internet. Think about your daily life. It's the smart doorbell that lets you see who's at your front door, the fitness tracker on your wrist, or the smart fridge that can tell you when you're out of milk. These are all consumer-grade IoT devices. They're designed for convenience, data collection, and automation. But IoT goes far beyond consumer gadgets. In agriculture, IoT sensors are used to monitor soil moisture and optimize irrigation. In logistics, GPS-enabled IoT trackers follow shipments across the globe. In smart cities, IoT devices monitor traffic patterns, air quality, and energy consumption. There are billions of IoT devices out there, and that number is growing exponentially. Gartner estimates that by 2030 there could be over 25 billion connected IoT devices worldwide. Every one of those devices represents both a benefit and a potential vulnerability. OT, the industrial backbone. OT, or operational technology, is a different beast entirely. It's the hardware and software used to monitor and control physical processes, devices, and infrastructure. Think of the systems that manage a power grid, the robots on an assembly line, or the control systems for a water treatment plant. OT is all about the physical world. It's about making sure that valves open, pumps run, and turbines spin exactly when they're supposed to. The primary concern here isn't data, it's safety and reliability. A security breach in an OT system can have catastrophic physical consequences, like a power outage, an explosion, or environmental damage. For decades, OT systems were considered safe simply because they were isolated. They weren't connected to the public internet. They were controlled locally, often using proprietary hardware and protocols. But that assumption is no longer true. The convergence, where IoT meets OT. The lines between these two are blurring. This is known as IT-OT convergence. Historically, OT systems were isolated, air-gapped networks. They weren't connected to the internet. But now, with the push for efficiency and data-driven decision-making, we're seeing more and more OT systems connected to the corporate IT network and even the internet. For example, a modern factory might use IoT sensors to collect real-time data on machine performance, which is then sent to a cloud-based analytics platform to optimize production. Smart grids combine IoT devices with OT control systems to balance power distribution in real time. This convergence offers huge benefits: better data, lower costs, predictive maintenance, but it also opens up a whole new world of security risks. A vulnerability in a small IoT sensor could potentially be a stepping stone for an attacker to reach critical OT systems. Part 2. The unique security challenges. Now that we know what they are, let's talk about why securing them is so different from traditional IT. Challenge number 1. Legacy systems and long life cycles. Traditional IT equipment, like your laptop or a server, has a relatively short life cycle, maybe 3 to 5 years. Then it's replaced. In the world of OT, it's the exact opposite. Many industrial control systems, ICS, and SCADA systems, supervisory control and data acquisition, were built decades ago, long before internet connectivity was a concern. They are incredibly robust, and they're designed to last for 20, 30, or even 40 years. This creates a huge problem. You can't just patch a critical piece of industrial equipment with a software update like you would with your laptop. A faulty patch could shut down a power plant. The cost and downtime of replacing these systems are immense, so they stay in place, creating a massive attack surface of unpatched, vulnerable devices. This long life cycle is one of the biggest differences between IT and OT security. A Windows laptop from 1998 is unthinkable today, but in OT, a control system from the 1980s might still be running a critical part of infrastructure. Challenge number 2, the constraints of OT. With IT, the primary security triad is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the CIA triad. You want to protect data from being seen, confidentiality, ensure it hasn't been tampered with, integrity, and make sure systems are accessible when needed, availability. In OT, the priorities are flipped. It's availability, integrity, and then confidentiality. The number one priority is that the system must be available and running. If a production line stops, it costs millions of dollars. If a power plant shuts down, people lose electricity. So, security measures that might interrupt a system, like a firmware update or a deep packet inspection firewall, are often avoided. The second priority is integrity, making sure the physical process is doing what it's supposed to do. Confidentiality of data is a distant third. This priority shift means many traditional IT security tools and practices are simply not compatible with the needs of OT. Security in OT environments must be carefully designed to avoid disrupting operations. Number 3. The diversity and scale of IoT. On the IoT side, the challenges are different but just as complex. The sheer number of devices is staggering. And they're not all made by the same company or running the same operating system. You have thousands of different vendors, each with their own security standards, or lack thereof. Many consumer-grade IoT devices are built with a focus on low cost and speed to market, not security. They often have hard-coded passwords, no way to update firmware, and are easily compromised. Once a single device is compromised, an attacker can use it as a foothold to access the wider network. This is why IoT devices are frequently hijacked and used in botnets. They may seem harmless on their own, but at scale, they become weapons. Part 3. The threat landscape and real-world attacks. So, who's targeting these systems and why? The threat landscape is vast and includes everything from opportunistic cybercriminals to sophisticated nation-state actors. Motivation of attackers. Cybercriminals, they're often looking for a quick buck. They might target an IoT device to create a massive botnet for a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack. A famous example is the Mirai botnet, which took over millions of poorly secured cameras and routers to launch some of the largest DDoS attacks in history. They also use ransomware to encrypt OT systems, demanding payment to restore control of critical infrastructure. The Colonial Pipeline attack is a perfect example of this, where fuel distribution across the US was disrupted. Nation-state actors, these are the most dangerous threats. Their goals are not financial. They want to disrupt, damage, or spy on a country's critical infrastructure. Their attacks are highly sophisticated and often designed to cause physical damage. The Stuxnet worm is the classic case. It was designed to target and sabotage Iran's nuclear centrifuges, causing them to self-destruct. This was a physical attack executed through a digital medium. Impact of attacks. The consequences of a successful attack on IoT or OT systems can be devastating. Physical damage. This is the most frightening outcome. An attack could cause an industrial robot to malfunction, leading to a factory accident. Or it could cause a safety system at a power plant to fail, leading to an explosion. Service disruption. A ransomware attack on a utility company could shut down electricity or water for an entire city. A compromised transportation system could cause chaos on a train network. Loss of life. In the most extreme scenarios, a security breach could lead to a loss of life. Think about a hospital. What if a hacker takes control of an IoT-enabled medical device? The consequences are unthinkable. Part 4. Securing the future. What can we do? Part 4. Securing the future. What can we do? So, with all these challenges, what's the solution? It's a multi-layered approach that involves technology, policy, and a change in mindset. For OT systems. Network segmentation. The number one priority is to create an air gap, or at least a logical one. Use firewalls and other security controls to segment the OT network from the IT network. This means if the IT network is compromised, the attacker can't easily jump over to the critical OT systems. Stronger access control. Implement strict access control using a principle called least privilege. This means a user or system only has the permissions absolutely necessary to perform their job. Also, use multi-factor authentication, MFA, wherever possible. Asset inventory and monitoring. You can't protect what you can't see. Companies need a complete inventory of every OT device on their network. Then, they need to continuously monitor network traffic for any unusual activity that might indicate an attack. For IoT systems. Secure by design. The shift needs to happen at the manufacturing level. We need to push for products that are secure by design, with security features built in from the ground up, not as an afterthought. This includes using strong, unique default passwords, and a mechanism for easy firmware updates. Consumer awareness. As consumers, we have a role to play. Don't buy products from manufacturers with a bad security track record. Change default passwords immediately, and if a device can't be updated, consider replacing it. Policy and regulation. Governments and regulatory bodies need to step in and set minimum security standards for IoT and OT devices. This would force manufacturers to prioritize security and give consumers a baseline of protection. Looking ahead. Looking ahead. The convergence of IT, OT, and IoT is a genie that's not going back in the bottle. It's driving massive gains in efficiency, productivity, and convenience. But it also creates a new era of risk. As these systems become more interconnected, the attack surface expands, and the potential for a catastrophic event grows. Securing our connected world isn't just a technical challenge, it's a societal one. It requires collaboration between manufacturers, governments, and end users to build a future that is not just smart, but also safe. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video gave you a clearer picture of the critical world of IoT and OT security. Let me know in the comments what other security topics you'd like me to cover.